Carol Melvin and the Blue Notes. Wake up, everybody. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Mimi Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Juan?
Well, on Tuesday, President-elect Obama announced Chicago School Superintendent Arne Duncan as his nominee for Secretary of Education. Obama formally named him at a news conference at a Chicago school where he outlined some of the challenges ahead.
If we want to outcompete the world tomorrow, then we're going to have to out-educate the world today. Unfortunately, when our high school dropout rate is one of the highest in the industrialized world, when a third of all fourth graders can't do basic math, when more and more Americans are getting priced out of attending college, we're falling far short of that goal.
As Chief Executive Officer of the Chicago Public School Systems, the third largest in the country, Arne Duncan expanded charter schools and launched a performance pay plan for teachers. In 2006, he called on Congress to double funding for the No Child Left Behind Act. At the news conference Tuesday, Obama praised Duncan as a reformer.
When it comes to school reform, Arne is the most hands-on of hands-on practitioners. For Arne, school reform isn't just a theory in a book. It's the cause of his life.
Duncan served as Obama's education advisor during his presidential campaign and helped shape his education platform. After Obama formally named him, Duncan outlined part of the vision for the coming 4 years.
Our children have just one chance to get a quality education, and they need and deserve the absolute best. While there are no simple answers, I know from experience that when you focus on basics like reading and math, and when you embrace innovative new approaches, and when you create a professional climate to attract great teachers, you can create great schools.
Michael Klonsky is a professor of education, a longtime school reform activist in Chicago. He's the director of the Small Schools Workshop and author of Small Schools, Public School Reform Meets the Ownership Society. He is joining us from Washington, D.C., from actually Chicago. We're also joined on Skype by Deborah Meier, spent more than 4 decades working in public education as a teacher, writer, and public advocate. She's currently senior scholar at the Steinhardt School of Education at New York University. Let's begin with Michael Klonsky in Chicago. Your assessment of Arne Duncan as the next education secretary?
Yes, hi. You know, I think people on the left and progressive educators and school activists aren't really thrilled about the pick of Arne Duncan as Secretary of Education. I think part of the reason, though, is that I think he's been too closely associated over the years with the daily machine here in Chicago and with No Child Left Behind policies coming out of the present Department of Education. But I think Arne Duncan has the potential to be a good Secretary of Education, and I think he has some real positives going for him. So I kind of see this whole thing as contested territory, and I don't think we should. Like most of Obama's picks, I don't think we should be dependent too much on, you know, this issue of this individual heading the department. But I think, you know, I've had a lot of struggle and a lot of issues with Duncan over the years, and I think my main criticism is his relationship too much with the daily machine and with No Child Left Behind, and the fact that he's one of the people responsible for bringing in this wave of privatization and ownership society politics here in Chicago.
Well, Michael, the way that this has been portrayed over the last few weeks in several of the national publications was this raging battle and pressure from educators, the more progressive ones supporting Linda Darling-Hammond, a professor out at Stanford and involved in school reform, the more conservative pressing for someone like Joel Klein, the chancellor here at the New York City schools, and Obama appears to have chosen a centrist candidate in effect to basically to avoid major criticism from both sides. Is that assessment accurate in your view?
Yeah, I think it is. I think Duncan was kind of a safe pick, a middle ground pick, somewhere in between the more conservative union busting types like Klein, but I think that's pretty typical of the way cabinet picks and the way Obama's choices have been being made so far.
Deborah Meier, you're a well-known school reform activist, currently a senior scholar at the Steinhardt School of Education at NYU. What are your thoughts on Arne Duncan and where you want to see education going in this country?
Well, first of all, can you hear me?
We can hear you, and for those people who are watching on TV, they can see you as well. Just look directly into the lens of the Skype as opposed to our picture.
This is a new age. We spent an hour last night trying to make this thing work, and I don't know that we quite got it right. So, first of all, I think it's not two sides in sort of there is different views about the purpose of education, and there are different views about how human beings learn well. And I think there's a very predominant view right now that has been called by the name of reform, and that has nothing to do with red and blue. It's a kind of market view of education, though. And I think there are a lot of people on the red side who are more close to my views, and a lot of people on the blue side who are more close to Arne Duncan's views. And that part does worry me, maybe even more than it does my friend Mike Klonsky. Because it's, I think we need a different discussion about what the point of education is. And I was thinking about the data there is about how few kids who graduate, even graduate, less than half or half graduate.